News 11 at 7, your primetime news source with Andy Banker and Melanie Moon, starts now.
A 2-year-old is shot riding in a car, but at first witnesses were reluctant to cooperate.
The innovative idea under discussion that could improve those situations.
Tonight, an amazing story at this Red Robin restaurant. The walls look a little different because the workers took all the artwork down and sold it to help a woman fighting breast cancer.
Hardy Blues fans starting to show up early for tonight's Game 3, and if they get here soon, they can get one of these lovely necklaces which say Moose for Brian Elliott.
Coming up in weather, a cool afternoon and early evening with an upper-level disturbance. I'll let you know when we will see more sunshine and warmer temperatures.
Hey, let's go Blues!
First on News 11 at 7, fans are getting fired up for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Blues and the Dallas Stars. The puck drops in about an hour and a half at Scott Trade Center.
And we have team coverage tonight as the NHL playoffs shift back to St. Louis. Catherine Hessel is hanging out with fans. And we begin with sports director Rich Gould, with the Blues looking to take advantage of what is now home ice advantage for the home team tonight. Rich.
You bet, Andy. They've opened the doors, fans starting to come in, and when they drop the puck, as Melanie said, in an hour and a half, the Blues need to come out heavy. By that, I mean they need to hit any Dallas Star that moves. That's going to be their MO this series. Dallas is the far quicker team, the Blues, the tougher team, the bigger team. And that's how they're going to win, by dumping the puck in the zone and making sure they finish off the forecheck. Now, the boys practiced earlier today, and it's still a different time at 8:30. It takes some getting used to. Usually, what the players do is they work out in the morning, they go home, rest a little bit, and then they come back to the rink. Today, fearing traffic because so many fans wanted to get down here early, they had day rooms at the Westin. That's where the Blues hung out, hoping to recapture the magic of a David Backus goal that sent them home to St. Louis with the series tied 1-1. Here's Ken Hitchcock.
He grabbed it yesterday. He caused 2 penalties because of his determination, which is a great sign. Penalty he got for us in overtime was typical Vladdy. I think that these guys are learning that there's a huge difference between regular season and playoffs. And I think they're seeing that firsthand. And I think they're getting better and better because they're getting used to how hard it's going to be.
It's going to be hard. Hitch has told the players, hey, you can't rest on the laurels of the Chicago series. This one is going to be just as tough, and it looks like it's going to wind up being that way, possibly through 7 games. But Game 3 is tonight. We can't wait. I'll have sports for you a bit later on, guys.
All right, Rich, we'll see you then. Can't wait.
LGB tonight.
And the Blues win. If they just win their home games, they'll move on in the playoffs, and Blues fans are ready for that to start in about an hour and a half.
Catherine Hessel continues our team coverage from outside Scott Trade Center. Catherine?
Well, the party is really gearing up here. You can see behind me, people are already lined up outside the door for the game, which does start in an hour and a half. But really, can you blame them? This is the first time that the Blues have had a second-round home game in 5 years. But the good news is that a lot of people out here have been telling me that this is the Blues year. Now, you pick the player, and there is a Blues jersey for it everywhere out there tonight. Fans at the tailgate enjoying the music, testing out their hockey skills, and of course talking some Blues. Now right now the series is tied at 1-1, but fans seem to be pretty confident in the Blues' ability to pull this one off for a lot of different reasons.
We're skating with a lot of confidence right now, so I think we're going to do it.
I think we took out our biggest, rival, the Blackhawks. I think if we can take out them, we can take out anybody.
We're going to play a lot better on defense for sure, I'm saying. Yeah.
And Elliott's a shutout goalie. He'll be all right.
Now, the Blues like to keep it interesting, exciting for us. I would say a little bit nerve-wracking, maybe taking a few years off people's lives, giving them a few more gray hairs, and I'm sure tonight will be no different. Thank you, Blues, for keeping it exciting for all of us out here during the playoffs. So, you guys, I have to tell you, let's go Blues, and send it back to you.
Absolutely. Let's go Blues, and make sure to join.
You said it, dear.
Make sure to join Fox 2 and KPLR for another Blues Playoff Plaza party that will be on Thursday. Fans can enjoy live music, prizes, appearances by Blues alumni, along with Louie and the Blue Crew.
And fans inside the Scott Trade Center will be waving around their Troy Brower rally towels tonight. He had the big game winner against Chicago, I believe, in Game 7, and he had a big one in the last game against Dallas. The Blue staff put the towels out on the chairs this afternoon. They're waiting for you there. Let's go Blues.
It's not the only game in town tonight. A live look at Busch Stadium, where the Cards taking on the Phillies tonight, and much better weather than last night.
Yeah, hoping to make a little more noise. I think Adam Wainwright hit a 3-run homer last night to bring the Cardinals back and break that 4-game losing streak.
I think they hit 5 last night, didn't they?
Yeah, let's have a little more of that under some nice skies tonight, John Fuller.
Yeah, we have a little bit of foreshadowing. What do you know? Blue skies across the region. That's a good omen. 64 degrees, not bad for tailgaters. And our high today, 66 degrees, only because the clouds hung around for a good part of the afternoon. Average high for this time of year is 73. We fell shy of that. Chicago 67. The high in Kansas City 69 degrees. Here's our time lapse from Brightside St. Louis at the corner of Southwest and Kings Highway. Clouds, and then clearing in the last few frames. We headed downtown. It is certainly dry. There are some lingering clouds across the region, and what you're seeing looks like a few sprinkles to the north, actually the clearing line across Metro St. Louis. So the clouds are working their way to the south and southeast. But behind it, there's another cool front for later on tonight, about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That one will arrive. For now, we have 63 in St. Charles, Arnold 62, 61 in Belleville, 64 in Union, Missouri. Officially at Lambert, 64 will settle through the lower 60s into the upper 50s by midnight tonight, with partial clearing across the area. Coming up, we have some spring cleaning to do. Have some weather photos to show you, and an interesting stat you may have missed. That's coming up. Andy, Melanie?
All right, thank you, John. In other news this evening, St. Louis police continue looking for the person who shot a 2-year-old boy in the arm last night. At first, witnesses refused to cooperate with police.
News 11's Paul Shankman now has an idea being floated that may encourage more witnesses to tell police what they know.
There are few things more frustrating to law enforcement than witnesses who won't cooperate. But what would happen if those witnesses could be protected?
It's incredibly frustrating when people won't come forward and tell us what they know.
Mary Pat Carl is the lead homicide prosecutor in the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office. And she says no witnesses equals no case, which for a while appeared to be the case in last night's shooting that ended with a 2-year-old boy shot in the arm by a bullet that went through the back of a car. At first, the adults in the car were uncooperative with police, but now they've started to tell detectives what they know.
When you respond to these scenes and you start to see firsthand how many people scatter, how many people don't come forward, you start to look for ideas of how can we change this.
And one of those ideas being discussed is offering witnesses a higher level of security.
There are many jurisdictions in the U.S. that have a formalized witness protection program, and I think that's where we need to move to.
The Circuit Attorney's Office says it believes its 1-year-old program of sending prosecutors to crime scenes has helped get more people to tell what they know, but that a formal and funded witness protection program is what's needed.
Talking about just basics, having basic systems in place, either temporarily moving somebody, permanently moving someone, or simply having ways that they can be secure in their own homes.
According to a report last year in the Boston Herald, on average, Boston spent about $2,100 per case for witness protection, while Denver spent $7,500 and Philadelphia spent $9,100. Protection is not cheap, but Carl says it's time to find a way to fund it in St. Louis.
We want nothing more than to get justice when something happens. The only way to do that is to have people come forward and tell us what it is that they know.
Mary Pat Carl is running to replace Jennifer Joyce as circuit attorney, and she says she plans to make witness protection part of her platform. However, she says the idea has been under discussion in the office since before she announced her candidacy. In downtown St. Louis, Paul Shankman, News 11.
A judge refuses to reduce bond for a man accused of killing his wife. Police say John McLaughlin killed his estranged wife, Linda, in June of last year. Her body was recently found in a shallow grave in a wooded area near the town of Success, Missouri. John McLaughlin faces second-degree murder charges. His attorney asked for his $2 million cash-only bond be reduced, but that request was denied. Johnson & Johnson losing another talcum powder cancer lawsuit.
And News 11's Dan Gray reports a St. Louis jury has ordered the company to pay $55 million.
62-year-old Gloria Ristison of South Dakota said she used talcum powder for more than 35 years before being diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2011. The cancer is now in remission. Her lawyers argued that Johnson & Johnson knew the health risks associated with talc, but failed to warn consumers. The lawyers say they showed the jury internal company documents that showed they knew of studies connecting talc use to ovarian cancer. The St. Louis jury deliberated for 8 hours.
The internal documents suggest that they've known for over 30 years. They talk about the horses out of the barn within the medical community, that the medical community is well aware of the association between talc and ovarian cancer. They talk about how they need to hire members of, quote, the club to recreate the science. And that's exactly what they did on this case, and to cause confusion and delay.
Jim Onder says Johnson & Johnson faces at least 1,000 still pending talcum powder lawsuits in St. Louis. Earlier this year, a court awarded $72 million to the family of an Alabama woman who died of ovarian cancer they say was caused by the product. A spokeswoman for Johnson & Johnson says multiple reviews have determined that talc is safe, and the company plans to appeal. I'm Dan Gray, News 11.
Police need your help to catch a burglar tonight. They say this man broke into Plaza Pawn on Gravois Road in Fenton around 3:45 Saturday morning. He then stole 5 black powder rifles. If you recognize him, call the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. And St. Louis police are looking for a robber after an early morning holdup at a South St. Louis convenience store. It happened at the 7-Eleven at Chippewa and Macklin about 1:15 this morning. The gunman got away. No one was hurt. A longtime clerk tells us this is not the first time he's been held up.
When your primetime news source continues, a city bus hijacked in Washington, D.C.
Plus, Ted Cruz going off on Donald Trump as his campaign is going down tonight in Indiana. Why he says Trump is not a good influence on young Americans.
First Lady Michelle Obama visits one of the nation's largest Army training posts. Why she came and what she did here at Fort Leonard Wood.
Give hope. Give local. Give goodwill.
In the nation's capital, a man hijacks a Metro bus, then strikes and kills a pedestrian. Investigators say it happened about 10:30 this morning. A man walked onto a bus stopped on J Street. Police say the man refused to sit down and at one point began attacking the bus driver with a weapon. Everyone, including that bus driver, got off the bus, and that's when the man drove off in the bus. Police say he then went over a curb and hit and killed a pedestrian in a gas station parking lot. The bus then stopped and police forced the suspect off that bus before arresting him. For the second day, nearly 100 public schools in Detroit are closed after dozens of teachers called off sick. The sick-outs come after word that the Detroit public school system will not have enough money to pay teachers after June 30th. But late this afternoon, the American Federation of Teachers encouraged Detroit teachers to return to the classroom tomorrow after assurances they will be paid for the full school year.
Election on 11. The results are rolling in right now from the Indiana primary, and CNN projects Donald Trump the big winner on the Republican side. He has won 6 straight states, and that's not counting Indiana tonight. Experts say this was Texas Senator Ted Cruz's last chance to stop Trump from getting the nomination. And today, Cruz went scorched earth against the Donald.
Think about your teenage kids. The President of the United States talks about how great it is to commit adultery, how proud he is. Describes his battles with venereal disease as his own personal Vietnam.
57 delegates are up for grabs on the Republican side. It's too early to project the winner between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders in the Democratic contest.
First Lady Michelle Obama and the Vice President's wife, Dr. Jill Biden, stopped by Fort Leonard Wood today.
They're celebrating the 5th anniversary of their Joining Forces initiative, and News 11's Betsy Bruce was there.
More than 11,000 family members live here on Fort Leonard Wood property in central Missouri. The White House chose one of the 4 schools located on the post for the First Lady's visit. First Lady Michelle Obama and the wife of the Vice President, Dr. Jill Biden, came to Thayer Elementary to read children's books to 270 youngsters who had waited patiently for more than an hour sitting on the gym floor. They clearly were well prepared for the visit and delighted to also meet astronaut Mark Kelly and Reading Rainbow host LeVar Burton, whose books were featured today.
I thought they were really unique and good.
What did you think about the First Lady and the wife of the Vice President?
I thought they were really friendly and nice. And I thought they would be really fancy, but they're not as fancy as I thought.
We're so fortunate to have the military presence here, and our kids really understand the significance of things like this. So they were very excited, and of course you heard them, scream Michelle Obama. That's be like a surprise when she came in. So they really understand it, and I know they'll remember this for the rest of their life.
Yesterday we spent pretty much all day talking about our visitors and biographies. I showed some biographies about them. We talked a lot about the Secret Service. They were around a lot, and so I wanted the kids to be prepared, and they really were interested, so they filled out a Secret Service application. They found out some qualifications, and those are the things we did to prepare.
After the reading assembly, Mrs. Obama and Dr. Biden joined soldiers at the Warrior Tower, a training facility designed to build confidence in recruits. They watched a variety of drills, including lessons in rappelling down a vertical wall. Michelle Obama and Dr. Jill Biden's efforts to reach out to military families has also included urging American businesses to hire these military members once they leave active duty. Here at Fort Leonard Wood in central Missouri, Betsy Bruce, News 11.
A Marine's determination and grit have turned him into an online sensation. Josh Barron lost his left leg and eye fighting in Afghanistan 6 years ago. He reunited with his unit over the weekend at Camp Pendleton, and part of the event involved a trek up a very steep hill. The video of his climb went viral. Barron says he hopes it provides a little inspiration and motivation for fellow Marines who may be contemplating suicide. Tough not to give up when you don't come home the same person you were when you left.
What determination. That is incredible.
Way to go, Josh.
Well, still to come on News 11 at 7. Severe weather hits the nation's capital.
And how close a North Carolina woman came to getting hit by a tree that came through her roof.
Good news, clearing skies and a cool evening in store. Coming up, we'll also do some spring cleaning and a weather snapshot that's really impressive.
Severe weather in North Carolina, a tree through a woman's roof.
The 87-year-old woman narrowly escaped death thanks to her daughter. Look at this. Betty Grant was sitting in a bedroom when the storm passed through Greensboro yesterday. Luckily, Grant's daughter moved her mother away from that spot right before this massive tree came crashing through the roof. The family is currently staying with a neighbor. Well, Mother Nature put on quite a show last night behind the U.S. Capitol building. A severe storm ripping through the area, knocking over trees and flooding the streets. Wow.
That looks like something from
disaster movie, yeah.
It's like it wasn't real, but man.
Yeah, so I won't complain about the little bit of rain we had last night.
No, and then we go, yeah, this is very idyllic.
Today's beautiful. I mean, it's a little bit
Eckert's camera over in
cool.
Belleville.
Yeah, oh, this is gorgeous. Like to be out there right now, John.
Yeah, I told you some foreshadowing there. Blue sky finally moving back into the area. And you know that lightning that you saw, the luminosity, the bright part, that's only the width of a quarter.
Really?
Just like super expands the air around it, and that rapid expansion creates the sound you hear as thunder. But the bolt itself, the luminosity, only a width of a quarter. Pretty impressive stuff. Pretty impressive clearing across the area. It's a cool evening, 64 degrees. We continue to watch the clouds slide on to the south and east, but it's only brief clearing. The clouds are going to be returning about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Another front will bring us another chance for some spot showers. But there you see the clearing line to our north and west. Good news there. And we zoom in a little bit closer. You can see the radar sweeping around the clearing line across Metro St. Louis. Here's the anniversary that we overlooked. Yesterday was the date of the latest measurable snowfall in St. Louis, May 2nd, 1929. We had 4 inches of snow. That's why we tell you Mother's Day is the cutoff for those freezing temperatures. And this too from last week. Remember those gusty winds up to 60, 70 miles per hour and up to ping pong ball size hail? This was a roll cloud over Washington, Missouri, and the outflow out ahead of it. That's where those gusty winds occur as the rain falls rapidly. The rain soaks into the ground, but the wind can't penetrate the ground, so it flows out ahead of the thunderstorms. Here's the front, brought us the cool weather past couple days. Today, better than yesterday. We hit 58 yesterday. Today, into the mid-60s. 66 was our high. Upper level disturbance, a weakness in the atmosphere, kept the clouds around. Here's the next front. That's due in about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. A brief shower possible. Then high pressure slides in behind it, and we'll see clearing skies. So brief clearing this evening, then a spot shower possible late. The overnight low temperature about 52 degrees. Here's time lapse of more clearing across western sections of the viewing area. Herman Hill looking beautiful this evening as the sun glints off the gazebo across the river. A little longer for skies to clear. It's mostly cloudy. Then about 6 o'clock, 6:30 this evening, the sunshine poking through. And we're holding at 64 degrees. It's amazing what the sun, what little bit we've seen, has done to stabilize our temperature. 67 in Kansas City. They have mostly sunny skies. Chicago, not bad, 63. Officially, 64 degrees. Winds west-southwest at 9. The barometric pressure is slipping. The humidity, 45%. And the dew point, 42. For the record, the almanac for today, 66 was our high. The morning low, 52. There you see it still can frost this time of year. Our latest frost coming up around the 9th or 10th of May 1976, we dipped to 31 degrees. Allergy count for today. Mold is down, mulberry is moderate. We have oak moderate, willow is low, and grass is moderate. So this evening, clearing skies, just partial or brief clearing. And then around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, we'll see that front slip into the area, race into the area rather, and then skies clear after about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Our eastern counties will see a little more cloud cover. The rest of us mostly sunny from St. Louis west and southward, not only on Wednesday, but for Thursday as well. Tomorrow, 69 degrees. A few spots may top out at 70 with additional sunshine. So brief clearing for the evening hours around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll see some spot showers late tonight, the low down to 52 degrees. Skies becoming mostly sunny and pleasant. 69 for the high temperature. Your extended forecast looks good through Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Then clouds increase Saturday night and some unsettled weather Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with scattered thunderstorms. Andy, Melanie.
Okay, not bad. When your primetime news source continues.
Extraordinary measures. What workers at the O'Fallon Moe Red Robin did for a co-worker fighting breast cancer.
Would you believe mosquito season started here in March? We'll talk to an expert about Zika, West Nile, and how to keep from getting bit.
A woman fighting breast cancer often felt her co-workers at the Red Robin and O'Fallon Moe were like family. Well, they just proved her right, selling the decorations off the wall to help her in her battle.
We're a strong family.
Regulars will notice the change in decor at the O'Fallon Moe Red Robin. Most of the pop culture photos are gone from the walls. Workers sold them.
Thank you. Yes.
They gave the money to Michelle Moss, a part-time server, single mother of 2. She had worked here for less than a year when she came in with terrible news.
She was really hoping it wasn't anything, and then she went to the doctor's appointment and came in crying. You just hug her. There's no words for it.
I mean, she had 2 kids at home in high school. You know, you're not working. How? It's tough. and we knew. So we wanted to help her.
Red Robin workers contribute to something called the Giving Fund to help their co-workers in times of crises. Between that and the wall decor sale, they donated more than $3,000 to Michelle and her daughters.
I had to get surgery, and she was there for me when she was going through chemo and all that. And it's not like I wanted her to be. That's just the type of person she is. She will fight battles for anyone.
I just want to tell them thanks from the bottom of my heart. They just mean more than they'll ever know. I feel very blessed.
She doesn't know how she would have made it without the donations. She just had a lumpectomy, finished chemo, and is about to start 6 weeks of radiation treatments. She can't wait to go back to work.
This is a live news conference with Ted Cruz announcing that he is dropping out of the race for the Republican nomination for president after losing big to Donald Trump in Indiana. Let's listen in.
Ronald Reagan spoke of the next 100 years and of the generations of Americans who would come to know whether our nation had escaped the existential threat of nuclear war, who would know whether our party had succeeded in its fight against the erosion of constitutional freedoms that only grow and multiply under rule of the Democratic Party. Ronald Reagan spoke of the purpose that defined our party then and that must unite and drive our party now. The Republican Party of Ronald Reagan and of George Herbert Walker Bush ensured that thousands of nuclear missiles that the Soviet Union and the United States had targeted each other were never fired, and that Soviet communism was consigned to the ash heap of history. They fought hard so that our American freedoms were not lost to any foreign foe, nor sacrificed in pursuit of any domestic agenda of the Democratic Party.
Ted Cruz in Indiana announcing that he is ending his bid
Kind of a stunner.
for the White House. I thought
They
he
were
was going
saying
to.
he was in it for the long haul, win or lose in Indiana. Not so. Trump's the man.
See what happens. Well, traffic troubles are coming to Interstate 70 in St. Charles County. The eastbound lanes of the interstate will be closed between Route 94 and 5th Street beginning Friday, May 13th at 11 p.m. It will reopen on May 6th at 5 a.m. Crews will begin demolition of the Fairgrounds Road Bridge. The work is part of construction on the new full interchange being built at 170, or I-70 rather, and Fairgrounds Road. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner kicked off the motorcycle riding season today with an important message: start seeing motorcycles. It's an Illinois Department of Transportation campaign to encourage drivers to be aware of motorcycles on the road around them. IDOT says motorcyclists account for 3% of vehicle registrations, but are nearly 15% of traffic fatalities. Rauner points out highway safety is a shared responsibility.
We're reminding everybody, stay vigilant, drive carefully, drive thoughtfully, drive with awareness, and we're encouraging motorcyclists, obey the laws, drive defensively. Assume that folks don't see you.
The governor also proclaimed May as Motorcycle Awareness Month in Illinois for the 33rd consecutive year. The West Nile virus and now Zika has pest control companies fielding a lot of telephone calls.
And News 11's Patrick Clark talks with an expert now on what to expect this summer and how to limit your risk.
It might be the beginning of May, but mosquito season in St. Louis actually began in March.
Zika-infested mosquitoes aren't here right now. I think there's some talks with CDC that they think they may be here late summer, but what's happening is people are traveling to these other parts of the world, you know, basically South America, and they're contracting it there and then coming back here with it.
As an entomologist, Jay Everett is aware of the breeding patterns of pests and how to avoid them. The big battle right now for Rottler and other pest control companies, the West Nile virus. The Asian tiger mosquito here in Mound City is potentially transferring it, and one of the biggest sources for mosquitoes in residential areas your own gutters.
I mean, when you have a swimming pool that hasn't been open and the water's green and, you know, the top of it, you can just see it moving, you know, those are the ones you got to be careful of. Or if there's a large collection of tires or the trash cans are full of water, you know. I take my trash cans at home, I drill a hole so when the rain gets in there, it just washes right out so that they don't have a breeding side.
And if you're out at dusk and dawn, that's when they're the busiest. This is why he recommends wearing long-sleeve shirts and using bug sprays that contain at least 25% DEET.
How do you describe the sound that a mosquito makes?
It's a pretty high-pitched buzz. I mean, you could be sitting there and they, obviously, as they get near your ear, that voo, you know, it's kind of a buzzy sound.
And your alarm to get away from the biting visitors that might be in your backyard. Patrick Clark, News 11.
An absolutely beautiful day to play horse hooky.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to opening day at Fairmount Park, one of my favorite places in St. Louis.
It happens once a year. Do you know what that is? It happened this past Saturday, and your weekend forecast coming up.
It is opening day at Fairmount Park.
And it was packed today. The 91st season for the track. The park had 8 thoroughbred races to launch season number 91. Live racing days will continue through September 5th. The track will be open on Tuesdays at 1 in the afternoon and Saturdays at 7:30 at night. And then after June 10th, they're going to add Friday nights through the end of the season.
Favorite place, right?
Yeah, you don't have to have a lot of money to have people
Just
think
have
you
fun.
lose everything out at the track. You know, it's just, they're beautiful animals.
Look at this gorgeous sunset. A look at the Gateway Arch right now. And the folks at the Arch are Blues fans. They tweeted, "Is it game time yet? Oh, 43,220 pounds of me can't handle this anticipation."
I love it. And here's a live picture outside Scott Trade Center as fans start filing in for Game 3. And John Fuller says the skies above, as we saw behind the arch there, are an omen maybe.
In addition to the
All
fact
blue.
that, can we start the game already?
Not yet.
I'm losing my edge. Yeah, we do have blue skies behind us over the arch, and it's a beautiful evening. Turned out really nice, although skies threatened for a little while. 64 degrees on that tease. Did you rack your brain and try to think of what happens once a year? Well, the weather team was together in one place at one time in O'Fallon, Illinois for Stormfest. Here's the group of 6 of us as we take a look down the line. Glenn and Annalise, Dave, myself, Chris, and Angela signing autographs. We had a great time out there, so thanks to all our viewers from O'Fallon, Illinois for turning out. It was a morning and early afternoon of fun. The weather highlights: an evening of clearing skies, 60s with us. A new fast-moving cool front will arrive well after midnight. A brief shower possible 3 to 6 a.m. Then becoming mostly sunny for Wednesday and breezy too. Winds northwest 15 to 25. High pressure into the weekend means sunshine and steady warming until Sunday. Meanwhile, we see that front with severe weather watches in the mid-Atlantic states from Virginia into the Carolinas, even Georgia. And to the north and west of that front, we have clearing skies. Good news as this little upper-level disturbance streams by to the south and southeast. Next front on the doorstep, arriving about 3 to 6 o'clock in the morning. High pressure in behind ensures sunshine for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Here's our time lapse. We had clouds, few sprinkles, few patches of light rain. Then late this afternoon, early evening, those skies cleared. Here's a view from Richmond Heights looking toward the arch, and you can see the back line of the clearing over Metro East in our Illinois counties. Nice looking evening. Hope you're all settled in for a big evening. Temperature right now 64 degrees. It's going to get chilly. 57 by midnight tonight with clearing skies briefly, and then it clouds up later on. Local temperatures are in the lower 60s officially. 64 degrees. Our winds west-southwest at 9. The pressure is falling. Next front on the way. Temperature track today. Chilly this morning. A lot of 40s. 52 at Lambert. 66 was the high. That's well below the seasonal average of 73. Like hot stuff, 90 in Miami. Phoenix 94, 84 in El Paso, and as far north as Billings, Montana, upper 70s. Mole count is down. Mulberry, not too much of an issue. Oak either. And grass rounds out the allergens today. So clearing skies until about 3 to 6 o'clock in the morning. A brief strip of clouds and showers. I think Illinois counties will hang on to the clouds a little longer. We'll see mostly sunny skies from St. Louis westward for most of Wednesday. So tonight, brief clearing this evening, spot shower possible 3 to 6 o'clock in the morning. 52 the overnight low. Skies becoming mostly sunny from St. Louis westward. A little more cloud cover, but it should be rain free after 7, 8 o'clock in our Illinois counties. And a few nice, beautiful spring days into Saturday, then unsettled Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with scattered thunderstorms. Look at those 80s popping up, Mel and Andy.
Looks nice. Weekend not too bad. Maybe a little bit rain, but
We'll be complaining about the heat before you know it.
not all. Just ahead on your prime time source for news.
A huge crash at a Brooklyn bike race sends cyclists flying.
Oh, this strange glowing creature is a new species of jellyfish. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration researchers captured video of the glowing jellyfish nearly 2.5 miles below the ocean surface. It was near Guam in the Marina Trench. That is the deepest part of the world's ocean. Spooky.
That is fascinating. I don't know how you can get down there to get a picture because the water pressure is so intense.
2 miles?
Smash everything. It won't smash
Beautiful.
that fish. An ill-timed motorbike stall turned a bike race in Brooklyn into a demolition derby.
And move over, Marty McFly. A hoverboarder from France sets a new world record. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A bicycle race in Brooklyn came to a screeching halt when a motorcycle stalled in the race lanes, causing a massive pileup. Just moments after the Red Hook Criterium race got underway, a pace motorcycle stopped, just as the cyclists were reaching sprint speed. You can see a few riders managed to avoid the stalled motorbike, but as soon as one cyclist crashes, it's a domino effect with riders and bicycle parts flying everywhere. 7 cyclists suffered non-life-threatening injuries in the pileup, which forced a restart of the 85-rider race. The do-over went off without a hitch. When Marty McFly used his hoverboard in Back to the Future 2, he flew what? Maybe a couple hundred feet around Hill Valley? Pfft, that's nothing. Frenchman Frankie Zapata just broke the Guinness World Record for hoverboarding. In fact, he shattered it, flying the device a distance of over 7,000 feet, nearly 10 times farther than the previous record holder. Zapata also invented the device he used, which is jet-powered and can hit 93 miles per hour. Looks like you got owned, McFly. Why don't you go Back to the Future? Which was 2015, so it's actually the past now. That is so weird. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
2016, we still don't have that hoverboard, but that's really cool. I want one. Would you fly one?
No, you can give me a ride.
Okay, 90
All right,
miles an
I'll ride
hour.
in the back.
That's really cool. Well, huge night downtown. The Cardinals are at home against Philadelphia after hitting 5 home runs last night. 5.
But we're really all about the Blues, aren't we? Mostly about the Blues. Can Captain David Backus and the boys take control of this series, or will Dallas regain home ice advantage? Rich is live with, well, we know what his answer is going to be, don't we?
Rich Gould live at Scott Trade Center. Game 3 about to get underway. I say about, and it's just 35 minutes away. I've been down here since before 4 o'clock. I've been walking around all over downtown, all over this building. I haven't seen one Dallas Stars jersey. That's a far cry from what we watched in the Chicago series when about 10 to 20% of these folks were dressed up in Blackhawks jersey. Tonight, it's muscle against speed. Can the Blues knock Dallas off their speedy skates? Here are the guys talking about what it'll take to win.
I think first and foremost, we just got to make sure we're responsible. And then after that, just bringing what we bring to the table, you know, making sure we're grinding teams down, playing physical when we can, but, you know, making good puck decisions.
It's been a pretty even series, and I think, you know, every road team sets out to at least win one in the other team's building. And, you know, as it stands right now, we did that on the road. And tonight's a big game for us just to to make sure we're coming out with the right energy and using that home ice advantage and trying to get on top of them like their fans, did to us down there.
How the Stars handle the Blues' physical game and staying away from cheap penalties, that's the Dallas focus in Game 3.
They're playing a defending game, and we're trying to play an attacking game. I thought there was a few times we didn't put the puck in the right place. I thought once we got their D turned and got it in, we were able to establish our game.
Just up the road is the Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. Michael Wacha pitching brilliantly so far. It's a scoreless game. Can Wacha duplicate what Adam Wainwright did last night? Waino not only got the win, but he triggered the offense with a 3-run home run.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Wainwright out to deep left field. Do it yourself. He has.
And it was like home run derby last night after the Phillies clipped Waino for 3 runs. 5 different Cardinals went over the boards. Adams, Diaz, Wong, and Randall Grichuk.
And Grichuk gets it out to deep left center field. How about 5 home runs?
It's just continuing to try and put yourself in a good position where you can have the best chance of success. And typically you need to be in a good mental frame of mind in order for that to happen.
Opening day at Fairmount Park was a big hit, and it's going to be crowded Saturday for the Kentucky Derby. The early favorite is Nyquist at 3-1, but can he match the greatness of American Pharoah? That will be tough. And in soccer, when Chelsea tied Nottingham, Leicester City, a group of misfits, was the highly unlikely champion. The celebration was wild, and the bookies took a bath. Leicester a 5,000-to-1 shot. How about Leicester? I guarantee the Blues odds much better than that. They're not 5,000-to-1. After beating Dallas in Game 2, the Blues now have home ice advantage. They'll drop the puck at about 8:35. Can't wait. There are still a bunch of Blues fans in the corridors, and they're waiting to get to their seats. Live at Scott Trade Center. Enjoy Game 3, everyone. I'm Rich Gould.
Just 30 minutes away.
Yeah, that reminds me, I got to be someplace.
He's going. Lucky.
We're in shock they made it to the second
Go
round.
ahead
If
and
they make it to the third round, well, we're going to be beside ourselves.
We don't know how to handle it. I do remember, though, in 2001, they swept Dallas in the second round to get to the third round.
Wow.
And then they fell apart.
Okay, well, at least they got the third round. We have a nice morning. There is a front headed our way. Some showers possible 3 to 6 a.m. Then after 7 o'clock should start to clear out and become mostly sunny. Cool for the rush hour, 53. The high tomorrow, 69 as skies become mostly sunny. A little more cloud cover off to the east.
Thank you, John. That's News 11 for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow for News 11 at noon, 4 and 7.
Primetime continues with The Flash. Have a great night.